Hi, Amidi.
So please, I want to whoop us. What you gonna talk about now?
Mr. D, who can you want on? Abi no calling Jari. Hi, Amidi, where did we stop in our last class? So, Aliyah. Please let me know where we stop so that we can start from here. Or should we jump?
Oh, don't jump.
Oh yeah, where did we stop in our last class?
I wasn't present in the last class, but I know you talked about capitalism, you talked about rule of law.
Yes. Where exactly did I stop? Because I started a story in my last class whereby I talked about dialectic materialism and historical materialism. And I was one way or the other using that to explain these political ideologies, because when you look at the political ideologies, they are all being mentioned and being explained as what as the process of development by Karl Marx. Yes, Karl Marx believe these political ideologies comes or they emerge through what we call different phase, different epoch. Match what we call different epoch, and when you look at it, this led to what we call the development of human being from the communal era, which is also called primitive communalism, and the struggle between human being, the coming of agriculture. Yes, the coming of agriculture led to the moving to another epoch called the slavery epoch. And when we talk about the slavery epoch, there's a class struggle in the slavery epoch. We have class struggle between two classes, two prominent classes. We have the slave masters and the slaves. So it was the struggle between the slave master and the slaves that led to the feudal era. And the feudalism, we also have what we call class between two individuals. And I explained in that last class how we get to the feudal class, whereby I picked Rome, yes, Rome as the key example of what nations that lead us to what we call the feudal class. And Johnny, where do we stop in our last class?
Hello? Hi, media, are you not meant to be in science class?
I'm in class.
Huh?
I'm in class.
This is a government class. This is a government class. This is not a physics class.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't see. Sorry, sir.
Johnny, where did we stop in our last class? Aliyah, where did we stop?
Rule of law, sir.
Where do you stop?
Rule of law.
Rule of law. We talked about
Characteristic of capitalism. Sir?
characteristic of capitalism.
The network is breaking, sir.
Someone said characteristics of capitalism.
No, after we stop at rule of law.
Rule of law. Okay, we did rule of law in our last one.
Hey, sir.
Okay, let's pick a new topic. That simply means we are done with the ideology. So our next topic should be on constitution. Are we all here? Are we all in? Miss Taiwo, Miss Johnny, Aliyah, are we all in? Our next topic is on constitution.
Okay, sir.
So when we talk about a constitution, one of the first question we need to ask ourselves is, why is it constitution, or why do we even have constitution? Why is it that the state needs constitution to function well? Why is it that constitution is a very key aspect of government? So when you look at constitution, a constitution, yes, when you look at constitution, a constitution is very, very important in the state, because a state without a law, yes, a state without a law is an anarchical state, a lawless state. Yes, when you look at a state without a constitution, a state without a constitution will lead to a state without government. Are we there? Hello, are we all there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, moving forward, what is now a constitution? When you look at a constitution, we can simply say a constitution is just a body of agreed rules and regulation. I repeat, a constitution is a body of agreed rules and regulation stating how the power of a country. Please, are we writing? Aliyah, Anjorin, Mr. Taiwo.
Sir, we are writing.
A constitution is a body of agreed rules and regulation stating how the power of a country is being given and how it is exercised. And regulation stating how the power of a country is given and how it should be exercised. Do we get that? Do we get the definition, please?
No, sir, the network is breaking.
The network is breaking. Can I come back? Johnny, are you in the class now?
Come out.
Anjorin, Miss Taiwo.
Yes, sir, I'm with you.
Okay.
But I didn't get the
I'm
definition.
finding the constitution now.
Yes.
A constitution is a body of agreed rules and regulation stating how the power of a country is being given and how it should be exercised. A constitution is a body of agreed rules and regulation stating how the power of a country is being given and how it should be exercised. Full stop. So now when you look at a constitution, just like the definition mentioned, it's just the body of agreed rules and regulation, the body that comprises of what? The rules and regulation. It states how the power of what? Of every individual of the state. It states how the power of what? Of every organ of government, how the power is being given to them and how they should exercise their power. That is a constitution. So now another definition goes this way. A constitution is a document. Are we there, please? A constitution is a document. A constitution is a document that guides the conduct of both the rich and the poor. That guides the conduct of both the rich and the poor. The bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The bourgeoisie and the proletariat. If you want me to spell anyone, let me know.
Bourgeoisie.
Should I spell bourgeoisie?
Yes, sir.
B-O-U-R G-E-O-I-S-I-E. B-O-U-R-G-E-O-I-S-I-E. Bourgeoisie. Do you get that, please?
Yes, sir.
So, bourgeoisie and the proletariat. and also the conduct, and also the conduct of both the blacks and the rich and the whites, and also the conduct of both the blacks and the whites, and also the conduct of both the whites and the blacks. So, do we get that?
Yes, sir.
So now, this definition, I am simply saying when you look at the constitution, it is just that what that body of rules and regulation that guides the conduct of what of the rich and the poor. That simply means what the behavior of the rich and the poor is being regulated by what by the constitution. The behavior of what of the bourgeoisie, those who own the means of economy, and the proletariat, those who work in what under the bourgeoisie, the blacks and the what and the whites. Every of their attitude or every of their behavior is being regulated and checked on by what by the constitution. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
So now another definition goes this way: a constitution
Okay.
is a body of law. A constitution is a body of law. A constitution is a body of law that guides the behavior of every citizen of the state. That guides the behavior of every citizens of the state. Full stop. A constitution is a body of law that guides the behavior of every citizen of the state. Full stop. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, through that definition, I was just explaining that what when I'm talking about constitution is not just about guiding the rich and the poor. You know, when you look at it nowadays, we classify some people under the what under average. Yes, but on the natural sense, there's nothing like average. Yes, it is either you are rich or you are poor. So now the logic there is that what is either you are average, you are rich, you are poor. Every of your conduct, every of your behavior, every of your attitude must be regulated and what checked on by what by the constitution. So the constitution is just the utmost body in the state that regulates the conduct of every citizen of the state. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand me, please?
Yes, sir.
So now, after defining constitution, can I please go into what we call types of constitution? Types of constitution. Types of constitution. Are we there already? Types of constitution. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about the type of constitution, the type of constitutions can be basically grouped into three. The type of constitutions can be basically grouped into three. Number one, the type of constitutions can be basically grouped into three. Number one, constitution based on codification. I repeat, constitutions based on codification. Number two, constitution based on rigidity or method of amendment. Number two, constitution based on rigidity or method of amendment. While the last one is constitution based on the system of government. Constitution based on the system of government. Are we all there, please? How about you? Are we there?
Is that constitution based on the system of government?
Yes, based on the system of government. Ali, are you in this class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope you are getting me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So now, can I start with the first one? Constitution based on codification. Constitution based on codification. A double column. There are two types of constitution under this. There are two types of constitution under this, and they include. There are two types of constitution under this, and they include. Number one, written constitution. Number two, unwritten constitution. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
So let's start from written constitution. Written constitution.
Are you okay?
Written constitution. A written constitution is a type of constitution that is being codified, in a single document. A written constitution is a type of constitution that is being codified in a single document. That is a written constitution. That is a written constitution can be found in just one document. That is a written constitution can be found in just one document. Full stop. Are we there? Are we there, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Full stop. Example of the first written constitution. The first written constitution is the Constitution of the Republic of San Marino. Is the Constitution of the Republic of San Marino. Full stop. Nigeria first written constitution is the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Nigeria first written constitution is the Clifford Constitution of 1922, which introduced elective principle. Full stop. Are we there? Are you all there? You raised your hand.
That is the Clifford Constitution. Yes, sir. That is the
Yes.
Nigerian first written constitution is the Clifford Constitution of 1922.
Yes.
I don't get it.
1922, which introduced elective principle.
Okay.
Full stop. So now let me explain that. When we talk about a written constitution, just like a few years back when I was preparing some students for JAMB, I was teaching this topic and I asked them what is a written constitution. Not only even few years back. Last week I saw a government teacher. I went to a tutorial and I was told to give the students a quick test, and I did not understand how their government teacher explained to them. But the logic there is that I gave one of the questions I give them is to differentiate between a written constitution and an unwritten constitution. And one of the key differences they gave to me is that a written constitution is written down, while an unwritten constitution is not written down. Basically, that's a false answer. Yes, a wrong answer. When we talk about a written constitution, A written constitution is written because it is written down in a single document. That does not mean an unwritten constitution is not written down. Anything that is not written down is not a constitution. It can be the custom and tradition, not a constitution. Do you understand me? But a written constitution must be written down in what? In a single document. Why an unwritten constitution is always written down in multiple documents, not in a single document. Do you all understand me? So when we talk about a written constitution, a written constitution is a type of constitution that is written or codified in just one single document. And when we talk about the example of a written constitution, the example of countries that uses written constitution include the Constitution of the United States of America. Um, we have the Nigerian Constitution, Nigerian 1999 Constitution as modified. We have which one again? We have the San Marino Constitution, yes, which is also a written constitution, and so on. So those are few examples of countries that uses what we call what? A written constitution. And when you look at Nigeria, the first written constitution in Nigeria is the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Yes, Clifford Constitution of 1922. That's a jam question. First written constitution of Nigeria is the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Are we all there now, please?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So let's talk about the characteristics of a written constitution. Characteristics of a written constitution. Number one, please. Characteristics of a written constitution. Number one, it is codified in a single document. Number one, it is codified in a single document. Number two, are we there?
Yes, sir.
Number two, a written constitution, a written constitution is always rigid. A written constitution is always rigid. That is, it cannot be easily amended. A written constitution is always that is, it cannot be easily amended. Do we get that? Do we get that, please?
Yes, sir.
So number three, a written constitution, a written constitution is always written. Sorry, a written constitution is always used in a federal state. A written constitution is always used in a federal state. A written constitution is always used in a federal state. A written constitution is always used in a federal state. Are we there? A written constitution is always used in a federal state or a state that possess homogeneous factor or a state that possess homogeneous factor. Sorry, heterogeneous factor. Why am I confusing things now? Or a state that possess heterogeneous factor. If you want me to spell the heterogeneous, let me know, please. Or a state that possess heterogeneous factor. A written constitution is always used in a federal state or a state that possess heterogeneous factor. Are we all there? Are we there, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's number what, please?
Number
Number 4.
So now, what is heterogeneous factor? Before we go to number 5, what is heterogeneous factor? Who can assist me with that? Heterogeneity.
heterogeneity. It means differences I'm not sure. So it means like maybe you have different things. Let me put it that
Here in government, when we talk about heterogeneity or heterogeneous factor, we are talking about multiple culture. Yes, different culture. Yes, we are talking about multiple culture. That means most time when we have a written constitution, most time we use those constitution in a state where we have what we call multiple culture, where you have what we call two or more culture. For example, United States of America. United States of America adopts what we call written constitution in 1870. Is it 1870? Wait, so, sorry. United States of America adopts a written constitution in 1787. So yes, 1787. Yes. 1787. Because they gained their independence in 1776. Yes. So they adopt what we call what a written constitution in 1787. Formerly, they used what we call a confederal constitution. Do you understand? But in 1787, they started using what we call what a unitary constitution and what and a federal constitution. So, and in United States of America, we have multiple culture. Yes, USA is not just one culture. When you look at USA is being colonized by various colonial masters. It is just that the European the British colonized the British masters are what are the dominant master. USA is not being colonized by just one individual. And when you look at Nigeria, for example, Nigeria possesses over 250 ethnic groups, which simply means what? When you look at the culture in Nigeria, it is what it is diverse. We have diversity of culture in Nigeria. Nigeria do not possess what we call what one culture. Igbo possess their culture. Calabar itself possess their culture. Idoma, which is also part of the Easterns, possess their culture. When you come back to what to Yoruba here, we can simply tell you the Yoruba entirely possess their culture. But when you look at the Egu aspect of people, they possess a unique aspect of culture also, of that culture also. When you look at those people that are being regarded as the what as the Lokis, they possess a unique aspect of their culture also. When you look at the Ijebus, they possess a unique aspect of their culture also. When you go back to the Northern Kingdom, we can pick we can pick the Hausa Fulanis. The Hausa possess their culture, the Fulani possess their culture. We also have the TV. Yes, CIV. The TV also possesses what? A unique aspect of culture because they are Republican in nature and so on. So, in short, what I'm just simply saying is that basically we have three dominant ethnic groups in Nigeria, but that does not mean we have three cultures in Nigeria. We have multiple, we have hundreds of cultures here in Nigeria. But what they are a little bit was similar. Why are they similar? It is due to through the advent of what we call colonialism, bringing us together. So we start to imbibe or we start to adopt, yes, the culture of one another. So that's just the logic. So in short, a state where they use federalism, most states, not a state, most states where they use federalism, it is always a state that possesses what we call heterogeneous culture, multiple culture. Most states where they and any state they use what we call federalism, they will always use what we call written constitution because a written constitution most time is always a federal constitution. Do we understand that? I hope you can flow with me, Aliyah and Taiwo.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, that's very, very good. So now number five. Number five.
Number 4.
Okay, number four now. Number four.
Yes,
Number four, please. A written constitution. A written constitution cannot be easily amended. A written constitution cannot be easily amended. That is, it is rigid. A written constitution cannot be easily amended. That is, it is rigid. That is, it is rigid. RIGID. Sorry, RIGID. RIGID. That is, it is rigid. So, do we get that? Can I explain that?
yes, sir.
So now when you look at it, okay, let's pick Nigeria, for example. Nigeria as a state. For us to amend what we call the constitution of Nigeria, we have process. is followed through the process called bureaucracy or red tapeism. When we talk about in government, when we talk about bureaucracy or red tapeism, we are simply talking about what we call the followment of long, complicated protocol. Yes, the followment of what? Of a long, complicated protocol. And when you look at that aspect, a written constitution follows the what? That's long, complicated protocol. For example, here in Nigeria, if you want to if you want to reform any law, it has to be in consent of what? Of the judiciary, the executive, and the legislatures. Yes. The judiciary can find the law not effective anymore. And that simply means we have to what? Reform it. And for us to reform it, the executive also must have a say in it. And for the executive to have a say in it, that simply means what? The legislatures are what? Are to reform or to amend the law. And to amend the law is it's just like passing a bill. To amend the law, we have what? We have key stages to amend the law. Note here in Nigeria, we have what we call bicameral legislature. A situation whereby a state possesses two legislative chamber. And in Nigeria, we call it what? The House of Senate and the House of Representatives. Do we get that? So when we talk about the House of Senate, we have how many members? We have 109 members. And when we talk about the House of Representatives, we have 360 members. Do you understand me? So now the logic there is that what most time when we want to amend any law in the constitution, when we have to amend any constitution, we have to it has to what starts from the House of Representatives. And from the House of Representatives, we have what we call 7 stages. Yes. They have to they have to bring the aspect of the constitution that is meant to be reformed. They have to bring this forward at the first reading. After the first reading, just like passing a bill, it has to go to the second reading. After the second reading, we have to talk about the committee stage. We have to talk about the report stage. We have to talk about the third reading. We have to talk about taking the bill to the upper house stage, to the upper house. And the upper house, we have to follow those stages again before it gets to the president to assent the changes. Are we all there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is so now for us to amend a written constitution. Yes, for us to amend a written constitution, we should know that a written constitution follow a rigorous process. Yes, a rigorous process. It was a long, complicated process. Do we understand that? So now number what now, please? Busy.
Number 5.
Okay, number 5. A written constitution is best suitable in a democratic state. A written constitution is suitable for a democratic state. A written constitution is suitable for a democratic state. A written constitution is suitable for a democratic state. A written constitution is suitable for a democratic state. Number 6, please. Number 6. A written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. A written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. Do we get that? A written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. That is number 6. A written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. Do we get that?
Please come again, sir.
A written constitution enhances the principles of rule of law. A written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. A written constitution enhances the principles of rule of law. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
So now let me explain that when we talk about the principles of rule of law, we have the principle of equality, principle of impartiality, and that of what individual liberty. And when you look at that, that can be best enhanced by what by a written constitution. Because in a written constitution, the constitution, because a written constitution is a constitution basically that is what above everybody in the what in a state. Yes. It does not really encourage what we call how can I say it? It does not really encourage what we call supremacy of the parliament. That simply means what a written constitution encourages what supremacy of the constitution, constitutional supremacy. That is, the constitution is above every citizen of the state. Do we get that? So that is it. So now a written constitution enhances what the principle of impartiality, the principle of what the principle of individual liberty, also that of what and that also that of principle of equality. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
So now let's talk about the last one. The last one is what? A written constitution. A written constitution foster the supremacy of the constitution. A written constitution foster the supremacy of the constitution. A written constitution foster the supremacy of the constitution. I just explained that now. A written constitution is just above everyone in the state. A written constitution foster the supremacy of the constitution. Saibu, Aliyah, do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is about what written constitution. So in short, I said I'm trying to cap now. I said a written constitution is just a constitution that is being documented in a single document. That it is being codified in a single document. You get. So and I mentioned the characteristics of the written constitution. And under and the written constitution, just like you if you notice that is being I mentioned it under what a category called what type of constitution based on codification. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
So now the second aspect, that is B. B under type of constitution based on codification. B is what? Unwritten constitution. Unwritten constitution. So unwritten constitution. When we talk about unwritten constitution, an unwritten constitution is a type of constitution. An unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is being codified in a that is not being codified in a single document. An unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not being codified in a single document. I repeat, an unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not being codified in a single document. An unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not being codified in a single document. Full stop. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So an unwritten constitution, an unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not written. An unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not written in a single document. An unwritten constitution is a type of constitution that is not written in a single document. Full stop. The first written constitution of the world, the first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta. Magna Carta of 1215. The first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta of 1215. The first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta of 1215. The first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta of 1215. Should I spell the Magna Carta? Aliyah and Taiwo, should I spell the Magna Carta?
Yes, sir.
Magna Carta is spelled um M-A-G-N-A M-U-A-G-N-A-C-A-R-T-A. Magna Carta.
A-L-C-A.
Did you get it? Did you get it, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta of 1215, which is used in Britain. Which is used in Britain. Oh, sorry, which was used in Britain. It's not which was used in Britain. 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 Full stop. Example of a territory. Example of a territory that uses. Example of a territory that uses unwritten constitution include. Example of a territory of territories. Example of territories that uses unwritten constitution includes number one, Britain. Example of territories that uses unwritten constitution includes Britain, Israel, North Korea, etc. Britain, Britain, Israel, North Korea, etc. Did you get that? Ms. Taiwo, you raised up your hand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what question is that?
You said the first written constitution of the world is the Magna Carta of 1260.
The first unwritten constitution, it is unwritten, no? The first unwritten
That's what
constitution,
you
yes,
actually
is
said
the,
written. I just wanted to confirm.
what is it?
I said you said written, so I just wanted to confirm.
Okay, yes, the first unwritten constitution, unwritten, UNWRITTEN. The first unwritten constitution is the Magna Carta of 1215, which was written. Is the Magna Carta of Britain, which was the Magna Carta of 1215, which was used in Britain. Do you get that now?
Yes, sir. Can you stop?
I said example of countries that uses unwritten constitution include. Example of countries that uses unwritten constitution include Britain, North Korea, Israel, etc. Britain, North Korea, Israel, etc. etc. Do we get that, please?
Yes, sir.
So now, who can tell me the first written constitution of the world? First written constitution of the world. Who can tell me that, please? Are we all there, please? Aliyah, Mr. Taiwo.
Yes, sir.
What is the first written constitution of the world? First written constitution
of the constitution
of the what?
Yes, is that first of the Republic of San Marino?
Yes, San Marino. San Marino is spelled SANMARINO. SAN space MARINO. San Marino.
Okay, sir.
Why the first unwritten constitution is what? Why the first unwritten constitution is what?
It's the Magna Carta of 1215.
Of 1215. That is the British Magna Carta of 1215.
Okay.
So now of 1215, not 2015, no, 1215, 1 to 15.
Okay, sir.
Do you get that? 1 to 115. Aliyah, do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So now let's go to the word characteristics of unwritten constitution. Characteristics of unwritten constitution. Characteristics of unwritten constitution. Are we there? Can I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Number one. Number one, please. It is not codified in a single document. Number one, it is not codified in a single document. It is not codified in a single document. It is not codified in a single document. Number two. Number two. If an unwritten constitution, an unwritten constitution is always flexible. An unwritten constitution is always flexible. An unwritten constitution is always flexible. That is, it can be easily amended. That is, it can be easily amended. That is, it can be easily amended. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
Number what now? Number two, right?
Yes, sir.
It is always used. It is most time, not always used. It is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. Most time used in a unitary state. Unitary state. E.g., greeting. Greeting. E.g., greeting. We get that. Do we get that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
More of what I like.
Number what now, please?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yes, sir.
Number 4. Parliamentary supremacy. Parliamentary supremacy. Parliamentary supremacy. Parliamentary supremacy. Double column. A written constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament. A written constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament. A written constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the supremacy of the constitution. A written constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the supremacy of the constitution. An unwritten constitution An unwritten constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the supremacy of the constitution. An unwritten constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the supremacy of the constitution. An unwritten constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the supremacy of the constitution.
Yes, sir.
Number what now, please?
Number 5.
Number
5.
Okay. An unwritten constitution is always flexible. An unwritten constitution is always flexible. That means it can be easily amended. An unwritten constitution is always flexible. That it can be easily amended.
That was in number 2.
That was my word. That was number 2.
That was, yes, sir.
Can you please help me read them out?
Okay. Number 1, it is not codified in a single document.
Okay.
2, an unwritten constitution is always flexible. That is, it can be easily amended.
Okay.
Number 3, it is not time used in a unitary state, e.g. written. Number
Okay.
4, parliamentary supremacy. Unwritten constitution encourages the supremacy of the parliament instead of the constitution. So now we are in number 5.
Okay, number 5. Number 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
An unwritten constitution can be easily manipulated. An unwritten constitution can be easily manipulated. An unwritten constitution can be easily manipulated. Full stop. Should I explain?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now the first one, it is not codified in the constitution. It is codified in multiple documents, not in a single document. Continue. It is codified in multiple documents, not in a single document. Number 2. Number 2. That number 2 is it is flexible. Yes. Most unwritten constitutions are flexible. Yes. Not even most. All unwritten constitutions are flexible. Because when you look at them, it can be easily amended. When you look at them, for example, I am the that number 2 goes with that number 5. When I said it can be easily manipulated. For example, I am the president of Nigeria. And it is stated in the words, and here in Nigeria we are using we are using an unwritten constitution. When I talk about unwritten constitution, I am talking about what's not codified in the single document. When we are using an unwritten constitution, the logic about unwritten constitution is that what we can have chapter A in Sokoto, we should have chapter B in Kashafa, we should have chapter C in Kutonu, we should have chapter D in what? In Ijebu. Do you understand me? So now it is not written in a single document. Maybe chapter A of the constitution is now with me as the president of the country. And it is stated in chapter A that anybody that kills must be killed. So as a wise man and my son kills someone, what will I do? I will burn that chapter A. And then we can rewrite it because it can be easily manipulated by the head of state. And I will rewrite by saying what? By saying anybody that kills must be given what? 5 million naira. So the logic there is it is not qualified in a single document, not like the written constitution. When I talk about the written constitution, when you go to a good bookshop here in Lagos State, a good bookshop in Ogun State, you will always find Nigeria Constitution. The 1999 Nigeria Constitution as modified because it is written in a single document. But on written constitution, you cannot find it in anywhere in the state. But what? Where the chapter is being found. So now when I burn that chapter, what is it? So that simply means that I can easily manipulate the constitution as I can easily manipulate the constitution anyhow. And what? And you people will have to what? Contribute 5 million naira for my what? For my son who killed what? Who killed Mr. Lagbaja? Do you understand me? So that is what I'm just saying. It is very easy to amend. You just need what the consent of the head of state for us to amend it, and that is why it is suitable in a what in a unitary state. Because in a unitary state, the utmost power of the state is being concentrated on what on a single decision-making body, which is the federal government, and headed by what by an official, which can be the president or the prime minister. For example, Britain, the head of what the unitary state in Britain is the prime minister James Boris. Do you understand? That's his name. And another example is Israel. Israel also passes what we call unitary constitution, and they use what a unitary state. Why? Because they are homogeneous in nature. Do you understand? So a unitary constitution can be used in an homogeneous state. Best used in an homogeneous state. So the logic there is that what a unitary constitution is just that aspect of the constitution that can be easily manipulated. It can be easily changed. It is best used in an homogeneous state. It is not documented in a single document. It is written in multiple documents. Yes. Do you understand? And when you look at a written constitution, it's supposed to call what the supremacy of what of the parliament, that is the head of state, and the parliament is above everybody living within the state and even the constitution itself, not the supremacy of the constitution. Do you understand? That is an unwritten constitution. Any question, please? Any question? Aliyah, Taiwo, any question?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go to the differences between written and unwritten constitution in a tabular form. Written first, unwritten second. Differences between written and unwritten constitution in a tabular form, please. Written first, unwritten second.
Oh, this one give me torchlight. This one give me torchlight.
Differences between written and unwritten constitution. Written first, unwritten second.
Oh, me too. Oh, me Jajumoyin. No one sure.
Differences between written and unwritten constitution. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Taiwo, Miss Taiwo, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So number one, underwritten. Number one. It is codified in a single document. Number one, underwritten. It is codified in a single document. It is codified in a single document. Number one under unwritten. Number one under unwritten. It is not codified in a single document. It is not codified in a single document. Underwritten, it is not codified in a single document. Number two, underwritten, please. Number two, underwritten. It is always rigid. It is always rigid. Number two, underwritten. It is always rigid. It is always rigid. Under unwritten. Under unwritten, it is always flexible. Under unwritten, it is always flexible. It is always flexible. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Underwritten. Underwritten. That is number three. It is best used in a federal state. Underwritten, number three. It is best used in a federal state. It is best used in a federal state. It is best used in a federal state. Gas is it on? It is best used in a federal state. Under unwritten. Under unwritten, it is best used in a unitary state. Under unwritten, it is best used in a unitary state. In a unitary state. Number what now, please?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yes, sir.
It encourages, that is underwritten. It encourages the rights of the individuals. It encourages the entrenchment. Yes, let's put it that way. It encourages the entrenchment of the rights of the individuals in the Constitution. It encourages the entrenchment of the rights of individuals in the Constitution. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
Under unwritten, the rights of the individuals are not stated. The rights of the individuals are not stated. The rights, the rights of the individuals are not stated. Number what now, please?
Number 5.
Okay, I should mention as least 7. Yes. Number 5. Written constitution. Written constitution can't be used in time of emergency. Written constitution can't be used in time of emergency. Written constitution can't be used in time of emergency. Written constitution can't be used in time of emergency. Written constitution can't be used in time of emergency. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
And underwritten, it is suitable. It is suitable. Under unwritten, sorry. It is suitable. It is suitable for the time of emergency. It is suitable for the time of emergency. It is suitable for the time of emergency. Number 6. Number 6. Underwritten, constitutional supremacy. Underwritten, constitutional supremacy. Under unwritten, parliamentary supremacy. Under unwritten, parliamentary supremacy. Under unwritten, parliamentary supremacy. Number what now, please?
Number 7.
Number what? Number 7.
Number 7.
We should
Yes,
put the
sir.
last one. Number 7. Which one should I use? I'll talk about rigidity, flexibility. Written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. Written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law. Written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law and, and can be easily referred to and can be easily referred to. Written constitution enhances the principle of rule of law and can be easily referred to and can be easily referred to. Under unwritten, under unwritten, it cannot be easily referred to in the court of law. It cannot be easily referred to in the court of law. That means they cannot easily refer to unwritten constitution because basically you cannot. It is not qualified in a single document. Most times they do not even know where the documents are. For unwritten constitution, it is what in one document, so you can refer to it anytime. Like go to so. So one unwritten constitution it cannot be easily referred to. Do we get that? Do we get that? Miss
Yes,
Aliyah,
sir.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
So now any question before we continue? Yes, that's very, very important. Any question
No,
before we
sir.
continue?
No, sir.
What about you? Mr. Taiwo, any question? Okay, let's continue. So big two, type of constitution based on the method of amendment. Type of constitution based on the method of amendment. Types of constitution based on the method of amendment. Double column. This include rigid constitution and a flexible constitution. This include a rigid constitution and a flexible constitution. This include a rigid constitution and a flexible constitution. So number one, rigid constitution. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
A rigid constitution is a type of constitution that cannot be easily amended. A rigid constitution is a type of constitution that cannot be easily amended. A rigid constitution is a type of constitution that cannot be easily amended. This constitution is most time used in a federal state. This constitution is most time used in a federal state, and it is also written. This constitution is most time used in a federal state, and it is also written. Full stop. Do you get that, please?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm just saying is that when we talk about a rigid constitution, just very quick, a rigid constitution is just a constitution that cannot be easily amended. That's just it. A constitution that we have to follow rigorous process in amending it. A constitution that has to follow the process called repetitism or bureaucracy. That's what we call what? A rigid constitution. So a constitution that cannot be easily amended is called a written constitution, a rigid constitution. So now, characteristics of a rigid constitution. Characteristics of a rigid constitution. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Number one, it cannot be easily amended. Number one, it cannot be easily amended. Number two, it is most time written. Number two, it is most time written. It is most time written constitution. It is most time written constitution. Number three, it is not suitable for the time of emergency. Number three, it is not suitable for the time of emergency. Number four, it encourages the supremacy of the constitution. It encourages the supremacy of the constitution. It encourages the supremacy of the constitution. Number five, a rigid constitution. Number five, a rigid constitution is most time used in a federal state. A rigid constitution is most time used in a federal state. A rigid constitution is most times used in a federal state. Do you get the five?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
get? So now let's go to B under what constitution on method of amendment. B now, that is flexible constitution. Flexible constitution. A flexible constitution. A flexible constitution is a type of constitution that can be easily amended. A flexible constitution is a type of constitution that can be easily amended. Is a type of constitution that can be easily amended. Full stop. Do you get that, please?
Yes, sir.
Simon, are you in this class? So full stop. Let's continue now. Constitution is always unwritten. A flexible constitution is always unwritten. A flexible constitution is always unwritten, and it is suitable for a unitary state. A flexible constitution is always unwritten, and it is suitable for a unity state. And it is suitable for a unitary state. Full stop. So what I'm just saying is that when we talk about flexible constitution, it's just that type of constitution that cannot be easy, that can be easily amended. Yes, it's the opposite of rigid constitution. And it can what? It can be easily amended. When you look at it, the amendation of what of the rigid constitution is very simple. What the judges have to do is for the head of state or the head of government should mention those aspects of what of the constitution that is meant to be amended. Yes, maybe an aspect of the constitution lost or one of them born it. Yes, because even when you look at it, it's just being practiced in a unitary state. You can't practice that in a state like Nigeria, whereby we are what we are heterogeneous in nature. A minister doing this you know, bought his office because he was not able to provide what evidence of the allocation given to him. So now, what will that minister do? If the chapter of the constitution be given to him, or if a chapter of the constitution is with him, what will that minister do? The minister can burn his own house, his own, just to protect his own selfish interest. But in a state whereby we have a community, a unity state is a state where there is unity. Where, in fact, most of them are what are they are faith churches. So when you look at that, that type of state concentrates the political power on just one single individual. Yes. Don't let me say one single individual. Let me say one single body, the federal body. Whereby the federal body is the one delegating function to the lower body just to perform a specific function. Do you understand? Example of a territory using this is Britain. Do you understand? The upper body is being headed by what? By James Boris. James Boris. And James is what is the head of what? The House of Lords, which is the upper house. And when you look at it, the upper house delegates function to what? To the lower house and what? And every other sector of what? Of the executive and what? And the legislature. So when you look at it, that type of system is best suitable. Power being concentrated on one body, and that one body will be the one with what? With the unwritten constitution, with the aspect of the constitutions, with several aspects of the constitution. And that one person will be the only person who is able or who will amend the constitution through the word, through word of his mouth. Do you understand me? So that type of constitution is suitable, or that type of system is suitable for what? For can best practice a flexible constitution, can best use a flexible constitution. But a territory like Nigeria, France, USA, the best form of constitution they can practice is a written constitution. A constitution that cannot be is a rigid and written constitution. Yes, a rigid constitution. A constitution that cannot be easily amended. When look at it now, if we use a flexible constitution in Nigeria, the Yorubas are the one in power currently. They will what? They will manipulate the constitution just to favor their own what? Their own tribe. When they also come into power next time, they will also manipulate the constitution again. When the Igbo come into power another time, they will also manipulate the constitution because what they want those constitution and those aspects of the constitution to what? To favor their own what? Their own ethnicity, their own ethnic group. And that is why that type of constitution, that is a flexible constitution, is not suitable for a territory like what's like Nigeria. Do we understand that? Do we understand that, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aliyah, what about you?
Yes, sir.
So now let's talk about the characteristics of a flexible constitution. Characteristics of a flexible constitution. Number one. Number one. It can be easily amended. Number one. It can be easily amended. It can be easily amended. Number two. Number 2, it is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. Do we get that, please?
Yes, sir.
Number 3 now. Number 3. Number 3. It is most time. It is most time unwritten. It is most time unwritten. It is most time unwritten. A flexible constitution is most time unwritten. Number 4. Number 4. It encourages the supremacy of the parliament. It encourages the supremacy of the parliament. Number 4. It encourages the supremacy of the parliament. It encourages the supremacy of the parliament. Number 5. A flexible constitution is suitable to be used in a state of emergency. A flexible constitution is suitable to be used in a state of emergency. A flexible constitution is suitable to be used in a state of emergency. Who can explain the meaning of state of emergency for me, please? Who can one way or the other try to explain state of emergency? Who can one way or the other try to explain state of emergency? Aliyah, state of emergency. Taiwo, state of emergency.
Yes, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. You know, state of emergency is just a state of before state of emergency. It is usually have a state of emergency. For example, Nigeria the state of emergency in 1960, where in that 1960, in that 1962, Awolowo was due in 1962. Before Awolowo was due, Nigeria and the Coca committee was established. When you look at that 1962, the state of emergency was agreement or due agreement out of representation. And when you look at the state of emergency, it was between two factions, which is the Awolowo faction and Akitola faction. And SL Akitola faction going back to what to cause chaos, coming back to Lagos State was to make glass transform. Yes, and this led to a state of emergency. So basically, as said by Awolowo, that action shouldn't have led to one state of emergency. For all states of emergency, we should have what we call riot. Yes, we should have chaos in multiple states. And after that chaos, a state of emergency becomes the state of emergency will become a military government speak. For example, here in Lagos now, the of Nigeria. Now start we now start what is here in Nigeria start coming chaos in people killing one another, people going out and doing the fighting and what will the federal government, the federal government what will now state of emergency. The federal government what will we try to that will get what rules and regulations, and by doing that what we declared a state of emergency. And the state of emergency means what? That what are the democratic elected governor of Lagos afterwards have to step down, and the military government appointed by the federal government have to come in just what we call people. Yeah. So now, but note, the state of emergency is widely different from what public view. Yes, it is widely different. The state of emergency, the military comes to me just a short period of time to maintain it. That simply means what? The military will expect to overpower. You understand? Taiwo.
Yes. No, I don't understand fully because your network was breaking while you were talking. So, who can
Which
help
aspect? Which aspect?
the part that you explained the whole state of emergency? Your network was stable, so
Okay,
I
you don't
got the point.
understand. Okay, are you is the laptop open now?
It's not okay. Ocean Heco, like on break.
Okay,
On break.
okay. Shall I go small? Shall I go slower?
I don't know if it's my network or I because Ocean break now. So when they miss our point in the second.
Okay. Let me go. When we talk about state of emergency, I said let's use Nigeria for example. Nigeria is state of emergency in when Awolowo was Awolowo was a prison for 10 years. Now in 1962, there's between Awolowo faction between Awolowo factor of AG and what factor of AG. The Agotola believed to be in the coalition of government against right? Awolowo believed in what in the coalition of government against the coalition of government of SARS. This struggle led to what led to that is what the AG crisis of 1962. Who gets it? Are you getting it? Hello?
Hello, yes, sir. Please join. Can I go off and join again?
Yes, you can go off and go join again. Yeah, go off and join. Are you there now?
Yes, I'm there now.
You can hear me fluently, right?
Yes, I can.
You can't also.
I can.
You can, okay. So now I said state of emergency. I said let's use Nigeria for example.
Okay.
I said Nigeria experienced their state of emergency, first state of emergency in 1962 here in what in Lagos in the West. I said this state of emergency led to what the improvement of what of Awolowo. And I mentioned that what caused the
Okay.
state of emergency itself. For us to know the meaning of state of emergency, we should have to know the causes of the cause of state of emergency. So I pick Nigeria for example, right? So and I said the 1962 state of emergency here in Lagos. I said
Is it
it
52
was.
or 62?
What do you say?
Is it 1952 or 62?
1952.
Okay.
I said it was caused by the struggle between Akitola and what and Awolowo, SL Akitola, and Obafemi Awolowo. So when you talk about this struggle, I said Akitola was of the opinion that the West should form a coalition with the North because the North have the majority. While Awolowo was of the opinion that the West should form coalition with the what? With the East to form a South-South coalition because what the Easterners are what are educated just like the West, and the Easterners are more politically oriented, and this caused what we call struggle in the house back then in Jos, back there in Jos. So now they come to Nigeria to what to Lagos back, and the first meeting in Lagos, Akitola faction went to the meeting and tried to what this they broke class, they caused riots in the house, and that led to the what to the pronunciation of state of emergency by Unamdi Azikiwe. Sorry, by Tafawa Balewa. Yes, the prime minister by Tafawa Balewa. Are you there? Saiwu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So now, when you now look at it, that caused the state of emergency. But as stated by Awolowo, Awolowo said it shouldn't have been a state of emergency because there is no chaos in the western region entirely. There is no chaos in Lagos State entirely. But the state of emergency was used to curb his own power. So how and why should we have state of emergency? State of emergency usually occur when there is what there is a crisis in a region or a state. For example, if we say we have state of emergency in Lagos, or let's say we want to have state of emergency in Lagos, and now mention that due to the irregularities of Nigeria, maybe here in Lagos we are now having what we call chaos. We are killing one another, we are stealing, doing everything. So we are now experiencing chaos. Even we go for rally, we go for protest, and instead of what protesting peacefully, we start killing. 10 people died, 20 people died. So the federal government will have to declare state of emergency to what to install peace back to what to the states. Yes, and this state of emergency simply means that the civilian governor, the democratically elected governor, will be removed from office, and a military ruler will come into place in that state. The military ruler will come into place just to to bring back peace and law, and not to govern for life. Do you understand? And that simply means what after peace, the military leader will have to we have to step down, and the governor will have to come back. Do you understand me? So I now mentioned that there is a big difference between state of emergency and military rule. In a state of emergency, the military governments are coming in just for a short period of time to maintain peace and regulation, to maintain the laws, the rule and regulation. But in a military rule, the military government come into power through coup d'etat, and they rule through decree and edict, and they are not coming into power to rule for a short period of time, but they are coming into power to rule for a long period of time. They are coming into power to rule. They are coming into power to become the main government, not just a choose not just a a government that has been put in place for for a short period of time. Do you understand? Ms. Taiwo, do you understand that, please?
No, I don't understand that.
You don't understand that?
Yes, that's yeah, like trying to explain differences in state of emergency and military.
Yes,
So
that is what I tried.
on
On
military, now so the military rule comes through the coup d'etat, right? That it comes
yes,
to be, is it supreme, like taking over? Maybe that's what
yes,
you mean.
they come into power to take over from the civilian government.
Okay.
Fully take over from the civilian government, and they are coming in to rule for a long period of time. They are coming in to become the government of the states. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
But on the aspect of the state of emergency, the state of emergency, the military are being put in place for a short period of time, just to what? Just to regulate the rules and regulations, just to regulate peace. And after the regulation of peace, they have to step down for what? For the democratically elected representative, which is formally in place. Do you understand? So that's just the logic. So military rule in Nigeria, we have 1960. The first military rule was in 1966. Do you understand? And the military rule Nigeria from that 1966 to 1979 when Obasanjo handed over power to Shehu Shagari. Do you understand me? So that is military rule. But state of emergency just happened in 1962, few months here in Lagos, here in the west, not even in Lagos, in the west entirely, just few months, except from Ibadan because of the likes of what's this name of this NPC man? Hey, if I remember his name, I will mention his name. Hey, ah, I've forgotten his name. Except from the Ibadan. Why? Because that place is being ruled and controlled by what? By NPC. Do you
Okay.
understand me? So that's just the logic. So state of emergency happened for a short period of time, and it's happened to maintain peace and what and to take back what to take back the state to maintain rules and regulation, and to give back the state to what to a civilian government. But a military rule happened for a long period of time, and the military rule happened come into place through coup d'etat. They did not just put them there. They come into place through coup d'etat. We have our first coup on January 15, 1966, here in Nigeria, coup conducted by what? Kaduna Chukwuma Hunziegu. Do you understand me? So they came into power through what we call a coup d'etat, and they ruled for a long period of time. Imagine 1966. After Agu Igosi, we have Yakubu Gowon. After Yakubu Gowon, we have Murtala Mohammed. After Murtala Mohammed, we have Obasanjo. 1966 to 1969. Do you understand? That is a what? A long period of time. And what they are what? They came into what place? Not to return back, not to return this thing. They may return and not return. But they came into place to what? To govern. Yes, they came into place to forget their primary function and to govern the state. But what? But the in a civilian rule, they don't forget their primary function. They come into they just sorry in a state of emergency, they don't forget their primary function. They just come into place to what? To maintain peace and what and to maintain the rules and regulation of the state. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Any question? Any question, please?
Question. Okay. Um, okay, no question.
Do you have any question, please?
I don't have any question.
Okay. Can we now talk about the differences between um rigid and flexible constitution? Differences between rigid and flexible constitution. Yes, rigid first in a tabular form. Rigid first, flexible second. Rigid first, flexible second. Difference is between rigid and flexible constitution in a tabular form, please. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can I start?
Yes, sir.
So now, number one, under rigid. Number one, under rigid. It cannot be easily amended. Under rigid, it cannot be easily amended. It cannot be easily amended. It cannot be easily amended. Under flexible, under flexible, it can be easily amended. Under flexible, it can be easily amended. Under rigid, under rigid, it is most time used in the federal state. It is most time used in a federal state. I know why I'm using most time because sometimes we use it in a unitary state, but not that all the time. But in a federal state, it is most time used in a federal state. Under rigid, it is most time used in a federal state. Under flexible, it is most time used in a unitary state. Under flexible, it is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. It is most time used in a unitary state. Unitary state. Under flexible now, under rigid again, sorry, under rigid now, it encourages the supremacy of the constitution. It encourages the supremacy of the constitution. It encourages the supremacy of the constitution. Under flexible, it encourages parliamentary supremacy. It encourages parliamentary supremacy. Did you get that? I can't hear you, please. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So that is number what, please?
Number 3.
So now number 4 now. A rigid constitution is always written. A rigid constitution is always written. A rigid constitution is always written. Yes, that is written. Written constitution is always written constitution. A rigid constitution is always written. Why under flexible? A flexible constitution is always an unwritten constitution. A flexible constitution is always an unwritten constitution. A flexible constitution is always an unwritten constitution. So now number 5. Number 5. Number 5. It's other rigid. It enhances individual liberty. Under rigid, it enhances individual liberty. It enhances individual liberty. That's the right of the individuals. It enhances individual liberty. Why under flexible? Under flexible, the right of the individuals, the right of the individual is not clearly stated. The right of the individual is not clearly stated. The right of the individual is not clearly stated. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So that will be the end of today's class. So in our next class, we should be talking about type of constitution based on the system of government before we move on. So any question before we end today's class? Any question, please?
I don't have any question, but I just missed some parts. I don't know how I can get that.
You just what?
I missed some parts, some fixations, so I don't know how I can get that.
Which part is that?
From
From what?
based on rigidity.
Based on
rigidity.
okay, based on rigidity. I mentioned rigid and flexible constitution. I said this I said under this we have rigid and flexible constitution. Then I define rigid constitution first, and I mention characteristics of rigid constitution. Then I go to flexible constitution and I mention characteristics of flexible constitution. Do you get the definition of rigid constitution?
No,
You don't.
yes.
Okay. I said a rigid constitution can be defined as the type of constitution that cannot be easily amended. A rigid constitution can be defined as the type of constitution that cannot be easily amended. That cannot be easily amended. Full stop. I said a rigid constitution is most time written and also used in a federal state. A rigid constitution is most time written and also used in a federal state. A rigid constitution is most time written and also used in a federal state. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Which one did you not get?
Okay, the differences between written and unwritten. Number 6.
Number 6. Which one did I mention as number 6? I basically listed them and I did not write them down. So now, which one is number 5?
Number 5 is written constitution can't be used in a time of emergency, while unwritten is suitable for time of emergency.
Number 7, ko?
You see that number 6 actually you started with constitutional supremacy. That was
Okay. Number 6.
yeah.
Underwritten. Constitutional supremacy. Underwritten. Constitutional supremacy. That is, the constitution is above everyone.
Okay.
Constitutional supremacy. That is, the constitution is above everyone. Why under which one again? Under unwritten. Yes, under unwritten. Parliamentary supremacy. Parliamentary supremacy. That is, the parliament or federal government is above everybody, including the constitution. That is, the parliament or federal government is above everybody, including the constitution. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So, anyone again?
Yes. For the B part.
For the what?
For the B part.
Flexible constitution.
Yes. So you said
Okay.
flexible constitution is a type of constitution that can be easily amended.
Yes.
You now said a flexible constitution is always, then I black out.
Okay, a flexible constitution is always unwritten. A flexible constitution is always unwritten and used in a unitary state. A flexible constitution is always unwritten and used in a unitary state. Yeah, bring it. Let me help you finish it. Eh?
Okay.
Let
I get
us.
them now.
Please. You get that now? What aspect again, please? What aspect do you not get again?
That's all.
That's all. Okay, thank you very much for today's class. So in our next class, we should be talking about constitution based on the systems of government. Thank you very much. Have a blessed night.
Hello, sir.